Hi, welcome to Butterfly Yoga and Pilates at Home. My name is Patricia. Today I have a short balance and movement class. It's suitable for everybody, but it's especially dedicated to all the lovely ladies in the Knocklyon Womens Group. Ladies, I hope you're staying safe and well, and I hope you're keeping up your movement practice. For today's class, you will need a chair. That's it. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start today with a little bit of footwork. So I want you to come to the back of your mat, or if you don't have a mat, that's okay, you can just work on the floor. And we're going to lift all the way up and onto the toes, and then we're going to walk forward. So ladies, you'll be familiar with this. We had lots of walks around the room where we walked around on our toes. So as you walk around on your toes, so we're going to do this for a little while. And as you walk around on your toes, you'll feel the calves start to become engaged. You'll feel the calves start to work. So again, if you have more space, you can come off your space, off your mat, and walk around. I can't do that because it chops the top of my head off. So we're going to walk all the way forward onto the mat and then all the way back again. So again, you want to do this for about a minute, because that's about the amount of time that we need for the muscles to start working. You might notice that you feel some work under the arches of your feet and on the calves, and that's what we're looking for. So you're just walking the length of your mat or the length of your room on the toes. Okay, and then we'll let the heels rest down. Now we're going to come onto the heels with the toes lifted. This is often a little bit trickier. I'm just going to push my chair out of the way so that I have a little more space. So that again, you're walking your space, the length of your room, the length of your mat, the length of your hallway, whatever it is. And again, we're looking to do this for about a minute. And with the feet in this position, you'll notice that it's the front of the shins that start to work a little more. This front shin muscle is really important to help us with our balance, because it's this front shin muscle that's responsible for keeping the foot lifted. And often as we walk, we'll hear that, people say that they just tripped over their foot, and sometimes it's just that the foot doesn't lift up high enough. So we really want this front shin muscle to work. This can be kind of hard on the heels, so particularly if your feet are a little sensitive. So pat out your floor as much as you need to, or maybe you're walking on carpet and that's going to feel a little nicer than a more solid floor. Okay, let's have one more go in either direction. And then back to the other side. And then release that. Okay, now we're going to go onto the outer edges of the feet. So you'll notice that I'm curling my feet in so that the arches of my feet are really engaged. And we're going to walk on this side. So we're walking now with the feet curled in. If you find that this is too much, you can always just do one foot, because that's going to lessen the load that you're placing on the foot, or you can do both together. And again, you can walk around your space. Maybe that's your mat, your hallway. Now, what I want you to notice in this position is that when you walk on the outer edges of the feet, you'll notice that you get the knees and the hips starting to travel out and away from you. So you can see how there's this external rotation of the thighs and of the knees as I walk on the outer edge of the feet. So if you happen to be somebody who wears your runners out a little more on the outside edge, maybe just notice if there's this, obviously I'm exaggerating here, but you might just notice that the knees go out a little bit more. And what we really want is for the kneecaps to be facing forward. Okay, once you've had enough of that one, we're going to go now to the inner edges of the feet. So now we're looking to be on the big toe side of the feet and the inner edges of the heels. And again, we're walking around our space. And just like with the last one, if you find that this is too much on your ankles, you can do one foot so that it lessens the load, or you can walk on both sides. So the ankle has a lot of movement, and we want to have all of these movements available to us so that we don't strain or stress the ankle if it moves in a way that we're not familiar with. This time you'll notice that the knees are rolling inwards because of the inward turn of the feet. So again, maybe notice if that's where your shoes were, notice what your kneecaps are doing as you're walking. And do they roll inwards? And again, what we're looking for is are the kneecaps to face straight forward. Okay, let's do one more. Forward and back. And then back to the center. Okay. From here, you might need your chair. So I'm going to pull mine in a little bit more into the picture. So if you need your chair, go ahead and use it. If you don't, that's fine. You have it there if you need it. And then from here, we're going to rise up onto the heels and lower down. So we're going to rise up and lower down. Now notice when your heels are lifting, you want to make sure that you're not rolling out to the side. A lot of us will do this because we don't like the pressure on the big toe, but we're going to try and keep a little bit of pressure on the big toe, providing it's not causing you any pain. And then we'll lift and lower and lift. So again, maybe you need the chair, maybe you don't. Just notice how it feels. Let's do 3 more for 3. And you might feel your calf muscles working again. Last one and come down. Okay, now we're going to do that on single leg. So you might need the chair for this one. So I want you to stand on your favorite standing leg, whichever one that might be, and then take your opposite leg and imagine that you've super glued it to the side right at the ankle. We're aiming to keep the hips level, and then again we're going to lift and lower and lift and lower. Now again, maybe you need the chair for this, maybe you don't. Check it out and see how it feels. It can be quite difficult. It makes me feel quite wobbly. That's it. And we'll lift and lower. But the chair is there if you need it. Let's do 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. Last one and come down. Switch it to the other side. Super glue your foot to your ankle, and then we'll lift and lower and lift and lower, lift and lower. Again, maybe check out, see how it feels without the chair. Use your hands to help you find your position in space. Lovely. Let's do 5 more. And 3 and 2, last one and come down. Okay, let's switch back to the leg that you started with first, whichever leg that happens to be. And now we're going to take the opposite leg and we're going to lift it up. Think about having your knee in line with your hip rather than having it drop down, if that's comfortable for you. And now we're going to make some more movements at the ankle. So let's circle it around a little bit in one direction and then circle it back in the other direction. Think about having your foot in a big giant jar of peanut butter so that you're not just swimming it around really easily, that you really have to stir around with the foot. And now I'm going to get you to all spell your name, just so that you get all those different directions of the ankle. So if you have a long name, I'm sorry. So we're just going to spell out our names. Don't forget to cross the T's and dot the I's. And then take that leg down. And then we'll switch it to the other side. So lift the leg up. And again, we're circling first of all. And again, if you need the chair, use it. If you don't, maybe see how it feels without it, because every time we challenge our balance, it's helpful to us. It makes it better. Remember that big jar of peanut butter, like you're stirring that big jar of peanut butter around with your foot so that you're not just spinning it around. And then again, we'll spell our names. If you have a very short name, you can use your last name as well. And then take your leg down. Okay, let's give the legs a little shake out. We're going to do one more standing balance. So we're going to lift the leg up, bring it in line with the knee, in line with the hip if you can. And again, maybe you use the chair, maybe you don't. From here, we're going to take the arms out to the side. So obviously, if you're using the chair, just one arm is going to go out to the side. So we're going to challenge the balance again by turning our heads so that we're taking our gaze away from the front. So we're going to turn to look towards your right thumb, come back to the center, turn to look towards your left thumb and center. So again, if you're holding on, you're just looking at one hand. Last time either side. And come back to the center. Give the legs a shake. And then we'll lift the other leg up. So whatever side you're on now. Aiming to keep your hips level. Reach one or both arms out to the side. And then again, we're turning to look towards one thumb. Or to one side of the room. And then to the other side of the room. So if you were to look at my foot, you'd notice that there's some wobbling and shaking going on, but that's okay. Because every time we wobble or shake, or even if we tip over a little bit, we're correcting ourselves, and that's helping to improve our balance. Let's do one more either side. And center. Okay, let's turn our chair around so that the seat is facing in towards the mat. And we're going to do some chair squats, but before we do, I want to talk about and look at the tracking of the knees again. So when we went to the outer edge and the inner edge, we could see what was happening with the knees. They start going off in the different directions. So we want the knees to face, the kneecaps to face forward. And when we bend the knees, we want the knees to track over the middle toes. So whatever way the feet are pointing, the knees should follow. So that when we bend and straighten, we have the knees tracking right over the toes. So let's do this movement a couple of times, just finding the knees right over the toes. And notice what they do. It's really good to do it in the mirror as well, because you can see if the knees start to fall together, which is the most common pattern. And then we come to stand. Okay, so we want that to happen as we're moving on and off the chair. So we're going to sit on the chair and we'll take our feet so that they're underneath our knees. And then when we lean forward, we want our nose to go over our toes. And then we're going to reach the hands forward, press into the feet and lift and stand. Now we want to try and use no momentum, and we want to come up and down really, really quietly. So again, as we go back, we're going to sit the hips back, take the nose over the toes and find the chair, and then sit up nice and tall. We're hinging at the hips, so we're resisting the urge to round the spine. Instead, think of reaching your chest out over your knees and over your thighs. Press into the tripod stance of your feet and rise to stand without making a sound. And then sit back down. So if you're finding that you get halfway down and then you plop down, you could always put a couple more cushions or some books to higher up the height of the chair so that you can make the movement smoothly. So nose over toes, push to stand. And then sit back down into your chair. So I'm going to let you continue to do that with a chair, or I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see the tracking of the knees as you stand and as you take your hips back. So again, you can work with or without the chair. It doesn't really matter. Wherever is more comfortable for you. And we'll just do 3 more. For 3 and 2. And last one. Lovely. Okay. From here, let's work up to the upper body a little bit. So we're going to roll the shoulders forward, up, back and down, and forward, up, back and down. Let's turn the palms to face out, and we're going to inhale, lift the hands all the way up and over the head. And then exhale and push the hands down. So if you prefer to do these next few movements sitting down, please do. Inhale as you lift. And then exhale as you lower. Matching your movement and your breath together. Exhale as you push the hands down. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower. Let's do that just one last time. Inhale as you lift. And then exhale as you lower. From here, take your hands out so that they're in line now with your elbows. Think of taking your shoulders back, away from the wall in front of you and down and away from your ears. And now imagine that you had a pillow right between the space of your upper arm and your ribs. And it's like you're trying to squeeze those pillows towards the rib cage. The palms of the hands are facing up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to inhale and take the arms out, reach the thumbs back, palms of the hands reach up, and then come back to the center. And then open out, thumbs go back, palms up, and back to the center. So you're trying to keep the forearms parallel to the floor, parallel to the ceiling, as you open the arms out and back to the center. Open the arms out and to the center. Let's do that twice more. And center and out. Now this time when you reach them out, hold them there. And now we're going to straighten the arms as we reach out through the fingers and then pull them back in. Take the hands in line with the elbows. Open out. Keep squeezing the upper arms and the elbows together until we're ready to extend the elbows, reaching out, and then pull them back in and back to the center. Let's do 3 more. And back in and to the center and open out and reach and center and back in. I think this is our last one. And center and then release. Let's give the hands a shake out. Let's roll the shoulders up, back and down. Last time, forward, up, back and down. Now we're going to just work the neck a little bit. So let's take the chin towards the chest. Feel that stretch in the back of the neck. And then from here, we're going to lift the head up and look up to where the ceiling meets the wall. And then exhale and take the chin back down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, take the chin down. Come back to the center. Turn to look over your right shoulder. Center. Left shoulder. Center. Right shoulder. Center. Left shoulder. Center. And then we'll make circles. Chin. Shoulder. Ceiling. Shoulder. Center. Back in the opposite direction. And back to the center. Okay, so that's our balance and movement practice for today. Thanks for practicing with me. Stay safe and well, everyone. I hope to see you again soon.